not sure exactly where to go with this video, doing a voiceover for it. Early on in what I'm trying to do with this fishing channel, I was out at this lake in Cayucos, California. It's a reservoir there. It's called Whale Rock Reservoir, and this lake is filled up with some bass, and I started catching a few a couple of weeks ago, and my wife suggested, hey, I gotta start a YouTube channel to document some of this. And so this is a little start to that. This is early in the morning. This is about 7 o'clock in the morning on September 22nd, 2024. I'm about, that's a nice little guy there. I'm about a mile and a half back on the trail around this reservoir. You are not allowed to touch the water here. You're not allowed to do a lot of things here, but you are allowed to fish here, and they don't have a whole lot of different types of fish in here. There are bass, there are some bluegill, there are some trout, and there are some catfish. I've only ever seen 2 bluegill here. They were tiny little bluegill, but they're here nonetheless. And so I've been going up, and in this video I'm doing a little bit of fluke fishing. You can see, you just saw the fluke that I'm using there. I'm hoping to get into, in the future, what baits or tackle that I'm using, the poles, how I've tied things on, all that kind of stuff. If you like that, this is going to be the channel for you. You can see here one from one fish. I threw it right back out. Caught another fish. Neither of them are very big. In fact, they're pretty tiny. This one's probably not even a pound, maybe a half a pound, maybe 3/4 of a pound. Not very big at all, but he's cute. Look at him. Get back in there. Grow bigger. Oh, and he destroyed my fluke. I'll have to get a new one. So here I am. I've walked around the corner a little bit, and I'm down around the lake. If you look at the far shoreline over there, that's kind of where I was at a little while ago. I'm about 2 miles into the lake at this point. I'm a little bit in, and there's these cattails out there. They always kind of look like a nice place for a bass to hide up back there. I'm just throwing a different fluke out there, just jigging it back and forth a little bit here and a little bit there. You can see some vegetation, some dead vegetation on the shoreline, right on the shoreline here, just in the water. This reservoir is down about 15 feet right now, 10, 15 feet. Normally it's much higher than this, and those things would be submerged. A couple of years ago, when California was in its big drought, this water was out another about 10 feet from here, 8 or 10 feet from here maybe. And things were really dry, and this was really low. So all of that stuff grew out into the water. So what you can't see out there is another row of those bushes and shrubs that grow out another 10 feet or so into the water out there. All right, I've just got my shad fluke on here. I'm going to take a few casts. There we go. Let's see what I can catch over here. I should say about this time in the morning, this is about 8 o'clock or so. You can see it's still pretty foggy, still pretty overcast. Got a little bit of the cattails there. I like to cast through those and kind of work it through. Sometimes I snag up just a little bit, but I always feel like it's a little better play. It's pretty foggy here still. It's always foggy in the mornings in Cayucos, California. It doesn't look like it here, but I'm about 2 miles back in on this lake, but the entrance to this is really only about another 2 miles from the ocean. So I'm not far from that, and a cold air on the ocean gets pulled in by some warm air inland and creates quite a lot of fog. So while the rest of the country is suffering through heat and humidity, we've got the humidity. We've got a lot of the humidity, but we don't have any of the heat, and it never gets very sunny here. That's okay. Our sun comes in the winter when it's not quite as hot. Oh, there we go. We got another one. This is going to be a nice little fish. Here, reel that in. It's got a little power to him as he's pulling a little bit. I think I'm going to get over to my favorite spot a little bit after this. Oh, you can see the guy swimming in right there, swimming towards me. It's a little better fish. I'm trying to remember how much this one weighed. This was about 2.5 pounds, this guy. If I'm remembering right. Look, he looks nice. There he is. Beautiful fish. Beautiful. So I catch a number of them like this. There he is. 2.5 pounds. Between 2 and 3 pounds. I'll catch 8 or 10 of them of that size in a weekend. I'll get out here about 7 o'clock and I'll end up leaving at about 11 o'clock. And between that time, I can catch my fill of all fish that I want. Let's see how much this guy weighs. Not really sure. Got all my baits in there that I like to switch between. I've got a scale here somewhere. Trying to remember. I know he's over 2 pounds. It's got to be over 2 pounds. Let's take a look. Maybe I'll hold that in front of the... Almost 2 pounds. Well, okay. 1.8. Still a good looking fish. And back he goes. Swim away and make some more fish out there. Lots of fish in this lake that are that size. Fun to catch. Super fun to catch. They put up just enough fight to make it enjoyable. And of course, destroy your bait. Just good. Just all good. This is a Yamamoto D shad that I'm using. All right, I've moved down the bank a little bit. A little bit more fog has rolled in here. That's all right. Still got the old D shad on. See if we can catch something else in here. It looks like it'd be a cold, miserable day here. Got some ripple on the water, but it's about 70 degrees here, so it's quite a nice day. Oh, and right away, there we go. I seem to remember this guy got caught up in those reeds a little bit. How big is this guy? Looks a little tiny guy. Looks like a tiny little guy. Yep, there he is. Nice little guy there. And again, I've been killing them on the shad here recently. About a month ago, I wasn't catching much of anything on these shad, but I would Texas rig a Senko, and all I had to do was throw it in, and seemingly I'd get another one there. Fish have changed, or I've changed a little bit here recently, so I had to change the way I fish just a little bit. I don't know, it looks like that's kind of been destroyed. Here we go. Just change position a little bit. Let's see what we can get going here. And it was a beautiful place up here. It's kind of not in the middle of anywhere. You've got to drive to get here if you're not living here. And there aren't a whole lot of freshwater lakes around that you can fish in, but This happens to be one of them. Again, you can see you just got that shad on there. Throw that out and see what happens. And what I'm doing is I'm just throwing out this bait. I'll take 4, 5, 6 casts. I'll pick up my gear and I'll walk 10 or 15 feet down. I'll throw it again. And just keep working along the bank. There's enough structure, enough stuff in the water out there that pretty much anywhere that you can get out there and throw it, there's, especially early in the morning like this, there's going to be something sitting out there. In the afternoon, I've got to go to a little different part of the lake when it gets sunny. Seems like the fish move out to deeper water when the sun comes out. Bass start acting a little bit differently. I got to go to a little place where I can access some deeper water. Seemingly I have to let my shad, my fluke, sink a little bit more and then just work it the same way. Here he comes in. Come on, get back out there and catch me something. Gotta be a bite right here. Gotta be. Gotta be. The funny thing about this place is I'll come out and I'll catch a dozen fish while I'm out here or so. And I'll look down the shoreline. Oh, there we go. I'll look down the shoreline and I will see 6 other fishermen and they will be there for 2 hours and they don't catch anything. And I can't figure out how other people aren't catching anything. We'll talk more about that in a different video. Anyway, this is a nice little guy here. See, it's the same size as that one before. There's lots of fish this size. Look at a beautiful giant mouth on this guy. Maybe. There he is. Look at that. Look at that big maw on that guy.